Hi everybody, this is Lowell and talking about my favorite musicians. And the last video we talked about Henry Cowell and his book that he wrote, New Musical Resources. And the composer that really took that book and utilized a lot of the new concepts that Cowell came up with was a man by the name of Conlon Nancarrow. And he uh, was a composer in the mid to late 20th century, and he the ideas that he was taking from the book from New Musical Resources, Henry Cowell, were so advanced that it was difficult for actual physical players to accomplish it, the rhythmic intricacies that he was trying to strive for. And so he ended up doing the best he could to find out how to establish those new ideas. And of course, now we have synthesizers and digital audio workstations, computers that we can use to do very intricate and specific musical ideas. But in his day, the best that he could do was to have a player piano. And so I would say that the player piano was the earliest version of a music sequencer these days that we have. And so he uh, had an inheritance come to him. And what he did with that inheritance was purchase a couple of player pianos from New York. And because he had some difficult political situations based upon his military service in Europe, he moved to Mexico and basically holed himself up in Mexico City, just and was by himself for decades, experimenting with this idea of what we call macro polyrhythms. And he did it with his player piano, and he basically pioneered a new way of thinking about music, and in terms of music rhythm. And I talked a little bit about what macro polyrhythms were in the last video, talking about the new musical resources book. But anyway, Nancarrow really became because of all of his work that he did just in secret for decades. Finally, towards the end of his life, people began discovering what he had done, and composers began to recognize his pioneering work. And even Georgi Ligeti commented that he admired Nancarrow's work, and Georgi Ligeti was incorporating some of these same ideas, but he had to admit that Nancarrow had taken it just to another level. And uh, anyway, just I wanted to. A lot of people don't know about this composer, but he, in my opinion, established a brand new pathway for music into the future. We can take a lot of his work now, and I believe some people have done this and actually put it into MIDI musical audio workstation software, to where it's expressed. All these timings are expressed in a way that actually current composers or musicians can utilize his compositions and his creativity. But all he had to work on himself was a player piano, and he took the resources that he had on hand and moved forward, and was actually very patient and very dedicated to the concept and the ideas of developing this. And I believe that history will show him to be one of the most important composers of Western art music.